Okay, good evening everybody. Welcome to DuePoint. My name's Rob van der Bijl. I'm one of the executives here. I'm going to be spending the next 60 minutes or so, maybe a little shorter, with you this evening. We're going to go through about what DuePoint's all about, give you a little bit of background about the business and the opportunity that we're going to be speaking about. Welcome to everyone who's tuned in around the country on the live stream. Good evening. All right, so let's begin. DuePoint is actually a division. I should turn this on. DuePoint is a division of another company called Constantia Insurance Company Limited. Constantia is a registered insurance company in South Africa. They were founded in 1952, so nearly 7 decades old. That's their building in the background. They're just down the road from us in Randburg. The FSP number that we operate under is that one that you see over there. You'll notice in the foyer above our water cooler. We've got all these certificates up on the wall. Check those out. Those are FSB licenses. We've got our long and short-term insurance license, we've got an investment license, we've got our FSP license, and then we've also displayed our accreditation with the direct selling and the direct marketing associations. So go take a look at that. We take credibility very seriously at DuePoint, and we understand that when you need to make a decision about partnering with a business like this, that you find this business trustworthy. And that's what we want to instill in you, is some trust in the business that we're going to be speaking about. The executives and the senior managers here at DuePoint are the people that you see up on the screen here. The 3 individuals on the far left are all registered chartered accountants, very fancy, starting with Brendan, our senior executive. He heads up our division. We're very lucky having him head up our division because he's got so much experience in financial services, particularly insurance, because his father's actually a professor of insurance. His dad's been involved in insurance for 50 years, taught at Wits for 25 years. And Brendan and his brother Stuart actually followed in their father's footsteps and went on to found a business down the road called PMD, or Prime Meridian Direct. And they founded a host of businesses around the world, actually, with a lot of success. So we're very lucky to have Brendan on the team. Tim Reynolds, he's got a lot of experience in corporate banking. He was with the First Rand Group for about 15 years, reported directly to the board of executives there. He heads up the auditing, the regulatory aspects of our business, the accounting aspects. Stacey supports him in that role. She's got a lot of experience in auditing. She worked with Deloitte all her working career in South Africa as well as overseas. And then the 2 non-accountants over here, we're the more sociable people, we're the ones with friends. Accountants struggle to make friends. I think that's why they got into network marketing. But Jane's got a lot of experience in network or referral marketing. She's actually from the UK, and we're fortunate that she brings all this international experience with her to our business, because even though we're an insurance company, our growth is determined by our success within the network marketing space, and Jane brings that experience with her to this team. And then myself, I've been working in marketing and advertising since the mid-90s. I started my own company agency and that's been going for over 20 years now, and I got out of that at about the 16-year mark. I exited that business, and I'll touch on why I left that business. But this is the team here, staff of DuePoint. We have a mandate to support everybody that joins us in this business, which means we're going to collaborate and support you in being as effective and successful as possible in this endeavor, because as a business we can only be profitable if you guys are being successful, and so we do everything to support you in that endeavor. So that's a little bit of background on us, on the company. Go do a background check on us to make yourself feel comfortable with the partnership. You have to obviously trust the business that you're going to be dealing with, or with the people that you're going to be dealing with. So go take a look at us. Then we discuss some negative aspects, unfortunately. This is just the beginning of the presentation. Then we're going to get over the negative stuff, and we're going to get into the opportunity stuff. But let's talk about the negative stuff, because these are really driving factors that led you to come to a presentation like this. Because if employment was the answer to all the issues that we have, you wouldn't be here, right? You wouldn't be looking for something extra. And so the driving factors that we look at are the economy. The economy is far from anything that we like at the moment. We were in a recession for about 6 months. For the last couple of years, we've been at like less than 1% growth. Now we're sitting at 0.3% growth. It's actually dismal. It's not even worth talking about. But it affects us directly in our personal lives, because we see it playing out and affecting us personally, because I can see, or I can ask the audience, well, how many of us have gotten a raise that's in line with inflation every year for the last 7 years? So inflation is sitting at about 7%, right? How many of us? Sorry? They say. Inflation's, they say, sitting at about 7%. But who in the audience has gotten an increase in their salary of 7% for the last 5 years, right? No one ever puts their hand up to that one. And so what happens is that your salary is actually devalued against what the cost of living is increasing by every year. So what you were getting 5 years ago is actually less than what you're getting today in terms of the cost of living. Food inflation sitting at 11%. We see it in all the unemployment in South Africa, nearly 10 million people unemployed. 10 million people sitting at home, able and willing to work. You can only imagine how frustrating that must be for those individuals. And then the problem that arises from the circumstance is that because we've got this divide between what you're earning and what the cost of living is every month, you've got this gap that forms. And unfortunately, we try to use debt to band-aid over this gap that's forming. And we get a lot of statistics that paints a picture of what personal finance looks like for the average South African. And it shows us that a lot of South Africans, too many of us, are engaging in debt instruments. And debt comes in all shapes and sizes. And 50% of those people that engage in debt are under debt review. 50% of the population is under debt review. That means they haven't been able to keep up with paying their debt back, keeping up with the cost of living. That's half the population. You can see it is a time bomb ready to go off. I was reading a few weeks back that one of the big grocery retailers was trying to apply for the right to sell food on credit. Can you imagine when they get that right? We will be digging an even bigger hole for ourselves, right? And so we often criticize that we engage in too many debt instruments and not enough in savings and investment products. Our circumstance, again, is exacerbated by the fact that we're going to all get to retirement one day. Has anyone considered their retirement today? Right? We're looking at there's a wide spread in the audience. We've got young people to old, mature people in the audience. I'm in the middle. I'm sitting at 40. I'm at 40. I'm in the middle. I've had 20 years of experience, and now I've got 20 years to try and make it better, right, before I hit retirement. And we'll all be at different stages of your story. But you need to consider what your retirement looks like. Because the statistics that we get say that 98% of the population get to retirement financially dependent. That is the opposite of independent, right? 98%. So there's probably 50 people in the room. So one person in the room is going to get to retirement financially independent. They're going to get to retirement and go, great, I've done enough. I've built up enough of an asset base. I've invested in investments, or I've got assets that are paying me money. I'm cool. The rest of us are going to go, oh dear, I had my retirement party last week. I get my last paycheck at the end of the month, and you realize you haven't done enough. Over the last 40, 45 years, you haven't done enough to put yourself in a position at retirement that you become financially independent, and now suddenly you become a burden to your children. You might have to move in with your kids, or you're going to become a burden to other family. You're going to have to downgrade your lifestyle so that you can actually get by every month. That is 98% of our population. Who wants to get to retirement with those odds, right? Those are terrible odds, and you cannot escape the data. You can be thinking, and I fooled myself, because I know, like I said, I've had 20 years of experience. I turned a blind eye to what retirement looked like. I thought, I'm putting enough money away into my retirement fund, but when I actually sat down and looked at how much money I was putting away, it wasn't nearly enough. It wasn't nearly enough. To save 5 million rand over a 40-year period, you have to be putting away 4,000 rand a month away. And it has to increase by 7% in line with inflation every single year. No one is doing that. No one is doing that. And so these are the driving factors. I might have depressed you in the last 5 minutes, but what I hope to have done at the same time is allowed you to reflect on your circumstances. Because I think we do. We turn a blind eye to what is beyond the end of the month, right? Because we're all worrying about the end of the month. But now I'm saying to you, stop worrying about the end of the month. Start worrying also about the end of work when you turn 60, 65. Because I don't want you to get to retirement and realize you haven't done enough, and that you can't afford to be retired and then go look for a job and stand in line with the other 10 million people also looking for a job. So out of all of this negativity, as a business, we saw an opportunity. We saw an opportunity to create a platform that allows the average South African to engage in, and this is what we're going to be speaking about. We're going to be speaking about this opportunity. We call it the DuePoint system. We actually launched it last year in February, and we have 3 aspirations in mind for the people that join our business. So you can align yourself with these aspirations, or you don't have to. It's completely up to you. But we would love to see the people in this business empower themselves to the extent that they become debt-free. because debt is crippling in your life. It cripples you, right? You need to get rid of it as quickly as possible. This was never an aspiration of mine. I just thought, I'll forever have debt on my credit card or at Edgar's. I'll be paying my bond off for 20 years, and you just accept it, right? I don't want you to accept it. I want you to now have this aspiration, this goal of becoming debt-free a lot quicker than what you would have thought. And once you've done that, if you can get to the position where you're debt-free, I want you then to start focusing on building wealth, which is putting money into investments, into savings products, creating assets that pay you money every month, right? Because this is going to set you up. This is going to set you up. And then the third aspiration happens all on its own, and that's just to see our wealth engineers, the people in this business, to be happier. Not depressed on a Thursday evening because you haven't been paid or you had too many debit orders this month. I want everybody to be happy. And that's really why you're here, because the person that invited you here planted some hope in your heart that you would hear something this evening that could possibly change your circumstance, right? This is why you're here. You have to make money, aren't you? Exactly. Okay, so we're going to hopefully solve 3 of these problems. How does this work? Our guests here this evening, you got the opportunity to join DuePoint. You actually contract with us. When you contract with us, we call you wealth engineers, a very appropriate title. As wealth engineers, we expect you to only do one thing, and that is to go out and build what we call channels of distribution. And we'll talk about channels of distribution constantly in this business because it's going to be your number one focus in this business, which is really you just introducing people to DuePoint. That's all you're going to be doing. And we, through our online platform, will attempt to place product with those individuals. And that's how this entire business runs, right? The benefit for you is that you get to create additional income. This is obvious. You're not here for the free tea and coffee, I hope. You're here for the money. But the income that you produce in this business is one of recurring nature. Some people refer to this as passive income. I love to tell the story of my father because he refers it to making money while you're sleeping. That confused me as well as a child. Making money when you're sleeping. What am I doing? Standing on the corner of Rivonia Road at midnight. But passive income is the ability to free yourself of a time constraint, right? Because this was, well, one of the biggest reasons why I left my business, why I walked away from it. Because I realized after probably about 10 years in the business, I realized I was not making money while I was sleeping. The only way I was making money was if I was sitting in front of my computer or sitting with clients or doing work. And if I wasn't at work, I wasn't making money. And if none of my staff were at work, the business wasn't making money. So what did that mean when everyone went on holiday in December? We didn't make much money in December. And I realized that I would have to work forever to keep producing income for myself. That's a business I didn't want to be in. So I walked away from the business, and I'm hoping now for the next 20 years I'll do things differently. And I hope it's the same thing for you, because in this business, and something that's inherent to insurance companies, is that we get to create recurring income. Right? This is your ability to start building an asset that will pay you out on effort that you do in the beginning. So if you put in effort in this business in October 2017, it can potentially pay you 10 years later and keep paying you. Right? Does that sound bizarre? It's like owning 2 houses. Owning your own house that you live in, you can't rent out. But if you own a second house and you rent out the second house, that's recurring income that you're generating. But you need to have an asset, right? And this is what we're going to be speaking about this evening, is your ability, your potential to build an asset here in DuePoint that will pay you out this recurring income. The power duplication. Again, this is the ability to free yourself of this time constraint. This is about leverage. We've built the system so that you can leverage not only off of your own efforts. Because if you go out and you find other very effective, resourceful, and capable people to come help you in this business, they will collaborate with you. And your efforts and your success won't be dependent purely on your efforts, because you'll have, let's say, for example, you bring 10 people into the business to help you. Now you've got 10 people in the business helping you build your asset that will increase your recurring income, right? The business is flexi time. Don't make the mistake of thinking that's great, I can do the business when I feel like it. You cannot be successful when you feel like it, right? You go speak to any entrepreneur. Business will squeeze the lifeblood out of you to be successful at it. Right? You have to adopt a very similar attitude. So when we say flexi time, yes, you have the luxury of choosing when you can do this business, but I want you by the end of this presentation, if DuePoint is something you want to engage with, at the same time decide how DuePoint fits into your life permanently going forward. I hope I haven't scared anyone when I said that, right? It's almost like we're getting married now, right? Big commitment, big commitment. Fortunately for you, unfortunately for me, this is a volunteer type of business. I would love to fire people that don't perform in this business, but I can't, right? Because it's a volunteer business. But for your own sake, make sure that you face the realistic circumstance of fitting DuePoint into your life permanently after this evening. So you decide, DuePoint's something I do every Thursday night, or I do it on the weekends, or I do it every weeknight, or I do it in the mornings before I go to work, or I do it at lunchtime during the week. Decide what it looks like, okay? No startup capital, there's no registration fees in our business. We don't tie you into a 12 or 24-month contract here. There's no boxes of product out in reception that you're going to go home with today. So we make the business risk-free. There's no qualifications or experience required either. Did anyone bring their CV with them tonight? You didn't. You can't join this business before I check your CV. You don't have to bring your CV, right? I don't care about your qualifications or experience. And at the same time, we contract you out of the FSB regulation that we have to abide by as a business. So you can partake in the upside of being involved in a financial services-based business without the onus of all the regulation that goes with it. You get to build an asset. Now, this is probably the most important, I think, the most important benefit on the slide, because it is the antithesis of what happens in employment. And I'll assume here everyone works for somebody, right? We're working for somebody. We're going to work for somebody for 40 to 45 years. Think about that. 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week for 45 years, with the prospect of 98% of us getting to retirement in shock because of the circumstance we're going to find ourselves in. In this business, know that the time that you invest in this business, that you sacrifice in this business, is building an asset that you have ownership over. You own the asset, the channel of distribution that you build. And so you can sell this one day. When you get to retirement, we don't stop paying you because you own the asset. You can carry on with this business beyond 60, beyond 65, beyond 70. You can give the business to your children when you get too old to do the business. You can cede it to your beneficiaries if something happens to you before the case. So you should be happy to sacrifice time into something that you own, right? There's no selling involved in this business. We contract you out of selling. We don't want you talking about our products. You don't have to sell our products. You only have to go out and tell people that there's a financial opportunity that doesn't require selling. That's all you have to tell people, right? I'll do all the work on the stage, and you don't even have to pay me a salary. I'll do it for free. The nature of our products are financial, which means they're not tangible products. Like I said, we don't have boxes of product that you have to buy. So if you brought your uncle's bakkie here this evening, it's been a waste of time. You're not going home with any product loaded on the back of your uncle's bakkie. You don't have to sell it. It doesn't have an expiry date. It doesn't take up space in your garage, right? So we don't have any of those stock and distribution issues. We make this business as convenient as possible for people to engage with. But your success in this business is very much dependent on your ability to build these channels of distribution. We're going to keep talking about these channels of distribution. I'm going to show you what it looks like. It begins with you. You become a wealth engineer, right? Picture yourself as the MD, the CEO of your channel of distribution, right? Because this is something you have ownership over. You're going to go out and find, I hope, resourceful, capable, effective people to join you in your channel. And these people that you bring into the business, if they take out a product, that is the beginning of your channel of distribution. And these people are going to go out and do the same thing. This is where leverage comes into it. This is where the power duplication starts to happen, because you have this organic growth that can take place in your business based on your early efforts, but not dependent on any further effort. So after a certain amount of time, you can build a business that looks like this. You're being paid every single month for every single dot that you see on the screen. This is a channel that you own. And a month will go past and a couple of more dots will arrive, and your recurring income will increase. So this is what a channel of distribution looks like. This is what you're going to be focused on in this business. You'll be warned. I will warn you. Do not come into this business thinking we're a get-rich-quick scheme. There's two sides of that. One, get-rich-quick schemes, sometimes referred to as pyramid schemes, Ponzi schemes, are illegal in South Africa. If you didn't know that, we're not an illegal business. We're a 70-year-old insurance company that's listed on the Joburg Stock Exchange. We don't smell anything like one of these schemes. And I see there are lots of them floating around South Africa. I've been exposed to many of them since I joined this business, people coming to me saying, I put 20,000 Rand in here and I didn't get it back. Because some guy in prison in Russia told me to on YouTube. Right? We're not one of those businesses. At the same time, we will never promise you success in this endeavor quickly or easily. Never. I'll tell you right now, this business is difficult. Did anyone arrive with the expectation of this business is going to be easy? I'm going to get rich quickly. I'm going to be a success by December. No one? Okay, I've got a good audience then this evening. Right? People willing to stick it out. This business is the same as any other business. If you've had the privilege of trying to start and run your own company, you will realize what it takes, right? Long-term commitment, endurance, perseverance, getting through the pain, enduring the downside of entrepreneurship, right? There's lots of downside to entrepreneurship. There's sacrifice, but you get to partake in the upside of entrepreneurship in building something that you have ownership over and taking control over your income for the first time in your life. So this is my warning slide, right? Don't think business looks like this. Business looks like this. It feels like this. It hurts, right? If you're willing to endure that, you're in the right place. All right, so let's talk about how you benefit as a wealth engineer. So there's two ways to benefit. One is through our returns program. Our returns program is what we pay wealth engineers at the end of every month. And the second way to benefit is through our rewards program. So we'll discuss that later. Let's start with the returns program. So we pay wealth engineers a base return fee of 27.50 Rand for every product in their channel every single month. Right? Remember the first 5 people you introduced to the business? These people, this product lies on your first point. On your first point, we actually pay you double the 27.50 Rand. We're paying you 55 Rand for every product every single month going forward. So remember when I said to you, in 10 years' time, you could still be earning off of the effort in October 2017. Right? That's because the person that you brought into the business in October 2017 is still around after 10 years and you're still earning 55 Rand off of that person. Your second point, these are people that the people you introduce, right? Friends are friends, colleagues are colleagues. And again, you earn 55 Rand for every product on your second point. And then your third point, it drops back to 100%. And then all the way down to the 8th point, that multiplier starts to drop to 4%. But what's important to note is that we don't limit you at 0.8. You can grow your business well beyond 0.8. We've got wealth engineers 18 months in already beyond 0.20. We keep paying from 0.8 onwards 4%. So we don't limit you on how big your channel can get at DuePoint. We don't limit you on how much money you can earn here at DuePoint. The accountability always lies with you. You make the decision how big you want this business to be, how long you're going to be in this business, how much time you sacrifice into this business. So this is the mechanics of the returns. This is how we calculate what we pay at the end of every month. The next question we get is, well, give me an idea of how much money you can earn in this business after a certain amount of time. So what we did was we built this projection, which is called the path to success. Clever accountants came up with this. It's a projection over 60 months, 5 years, and it is based on the premise that you're able to, as a brand new wealth engineer, bring 3 people into the business in your first month. Right? So now in October, as a new wealth engineer, you're going to bring 3 people in October. This is just an example. And then every month after October, every consecutive month, you only have to bring in another 2 people. And you have to do that into perpetuity. So November, 2 people. December, another 2 people. January, another 2 people. February, another 2 people. And if you can follow this growth formula, you can expect to be earning these numbers. 2,500 Rand after 6 months. Huh? Looks like I'm at a budget speech. Is that good money? Not good money? No one's walked out, but no one's smiling. 2,500 Rand after 6 months of work. 3 people in your first month, 2 people every consecutive month. It's 1 person every 2 weeks. You're going to keep bringing. You're going to get to 2,500 Rand after 6 months. It's not enough, right? Okay, let me give you a little bit of context around money, because this is something I realized I do. I think like a spender, like a consumer. You say to me, I'll pay you 2,500 Rand every month. I think, sure, I can buy new Nikes every month. Love trainers, right? Give me a new pair of trainers every month. I'll be happy. But that's a consumer way of thinking, right? That's how you ring up debt. That's how you never pay your debt off any sooner. So if you get to this position where you're earning 2,500 Rand, listen to Rob and try to pay your debt off sooner, because I'm going to show you what happens with 2,500 rand every month. Here's an example of someone with a R1 million bond, right? So they found a lovely little townhouse, price of R1 million. They didn't have the money. They went to the bank, asked for the loan. The bank granted them a bond, paid the R1 million, but they said to you, you're going to pay us back over the next 20 years, right? Because we always take out the 20-year bond. We never take the shorter one out. You know you can get less than a 20-year bond. We always go for the 20-year because we want the biggest house our salary can afford, right? So I would be paying back 11,500 rand a month for the next 20 years. So if I engage in the bond today at the age of 40, I'll become a homeowner when I'm 60, right? The day I get retired, the day Brendan says to me, thanks for your service, go now. And I'm like, sure, at least I paid the house off, right? That's what most of us do. We laugh. That's 99% of the population do that, right? So here this person, after 6 months with some success at DuePoint, they're earning a little bit of 2,500 rand a month. But they decide to do a very mature yet boring thing of putting 2,500 rand into their debt instead of spending it on something nice. What is the net effect of that? It means you will pay that bond off. You put that 2,500 rand as an additional payment into your bond. It means you'll pay your bond off in 11.5 years instead of 20. I'll be a homeowner at the age of 51. It means I can now take that 11,500 rand plus whatever I'm getting from DuePoint, and I can start putting it into investments and retirement funds for 8.5 years. It saves me in repayments. This saves me R1 million in repayments to the bank. 2,500 rand. And we all turned our noses up at 2,500 rand. You thought that's not a lot of money for 6 months' work. What's this presentation I've been invited to? Right? So I hope that I've given you a different perception of money, to look at it differently, because we're here not to pay bills. Your salary is to pay bills. We're here to build wealth. And when you think about wealth, you have to make boring decisions, long-term decisions. I've got to make a decision 20 years before I get to realize the fruit of my decision, right? See how much maturity that takes? After 12 months, you could be earning in excess of 100,000 rand a month in recurring income. Anyone expecting 100,000 rand bonus at the end of the year? No. Keep going. After 24 months, you're earning nearly 30,000 rand a month. After 36 months, nearly 50,000 rand a month. You want to look at the bond example again? At the 30-month mark, you're earning 36,000 rand plus take. Here's an example of someone with a 5 million rand bond. You can get a nice house in Bryanston for 5 million rand. 30 months into DuePoint, you can take that money that you're earning and put it as an additional payment into your bond. You'll pay that 5 million rand house off in less than 7 years. It empowers you to buy another asset. Owning a house is not an investment because you're living in your investment, right? But the moment, 7 years later, you buy another house, now you have an investment because now you're renting that house out for 20, 30, 35,000 rand a month. And you'll take less than 7 years to pay that off. And you buy a third house. So I'm 40, at 47 I buy the second house. At the age of 54 I buy the third house. At the age of 61 I've paid all the houses off. I now get to retire with 15 million rands in property assets. I live in my 1.5 million rand house that's paid off. I'm renting the other two out at 70,000 rand a month. Or you can scrap that boring stuff and buy a brand new 911 Porsche on hire purchase. Right? That's your alternative. It's an attractive alternative. Can you see how it makes the decision very difficult? You keep going. After 48 months, close to 70,000 rand a month. And you keep going. After 60 months, remember the 5-year projection, we're at around 1 million rand in annual recurring income. But now I can see I've lost everyone at 1 million rand. Right? I started too small, I've ended too big. Where were you more comfortable with? 30,000 a month? 30,000 a month good? 10,000 a month? What was it for you? I want your imagination to run wild. Right? We've been boxed. You've boxed into employment. You've boxed into paying debt. Boxed into a monthly salary that doesn't change. Maybe it goes up by 5% a year if you're lucky. Let your imagination run wild. R1 million in annual recurring income. What options does that give you? I love to think about this. Where in this process can you tell your boss what you really think about them? Really tell them what you think about them, right? When you don't have to worry about getting fired because you know you're earning R1 million in recurring income annually. Questions afterwards? Okay. But this is just an example. It's based on this growth formula that the accountants came up with called 3 + 2. You can certainly do less than it. You can join this business, treat it like a New Year's resolution. You're not focused on it. You don't treat it like authentic business. You were hoping that it was a get-rich-quick scheme. And very quickly you become part of the 0 + 0 growth formula. But you can also exceed it, right? It's an example. You can do more than 3 + 2. We've got wealth engineers that we love to feature every month at our Tell All Tuesday presentations that do more than 3 + 2. Yeah, we've got Joseph from Midrand, rank 5 already. You'll know what that is later when I talk about the rewards program. He joined halfway through May, 30 days. In 30 days, he was almost at 3,000 Rand a month in recurring income. 60 days later, 5,000 Rand a month. Let me give you a little comparison again to the value of money. Do you know how much money you need to have in an investment? How much money you need to have in a cash investment to pay yourself out 5,000 Rand a month in interest every month? Because this is what your retirement, this is the question you're going to face when you get to retirement. You're going to say, I get to retirement, if I've got R1 million invested, it's going to pay me out 5,000 Rand a month, right? In 90 days, Joseph created R1 million cash investment for himself in the space of 90 days. Shadrach from Madadeni, so he drove up from KZN this week to come speak to us at Tell All Tuesday, joined in the middle of April, 3,000 Rand in 30 days, 5,000 Rand. So very similar to Joseph, right? It's already sitting at nearly 13,000 Rand and we're not even finished with October. You decide how much time you want to engage with. You decide. I don't decide it for you. Nompilo from Port Shepstone had massive growth. Joined at the end of April. Right? You might think, oh, maybe a bit of a slow start. 600 Rand a month. Sitting at already nearly 15,000, just over 15,000 Rand by October. Songi, April, May, June, 60 days, 4,000 Rand a month. Look at this number. Every wealth engineer is different. I'm going to tell you right now, every single wealth engineer is different. 80% of you are going to get excited by the business and not do anything. The data doesn't lie. I've seen 40, 50,000 people come through this business. 80% of you are not going to do anything. Get excited. It's easy to get excited. Let me tell you, excitement doesn't lead to success. Right? Easy to get excited. Ask a 13-year-old boy. Doesn't lead to success, guys. Every single wealth engineer is going to be different. You decide what your target is. Is it 25,000 a month? Is it 100,000 Rand a month? Are you happy just to get to 2,500 Rand a month? Because your strategy and the time that you spend in this business has to fit your goal. Right? You can't be excited and go, whoo, R1 million. R1 million a year, that's me. But not do anything. If it's R1 million, you better believe you're going to be working full-time in this business. Right? But you get to decide what that looks like. So that's our returns program. There are hundreds of wealth engineers that are earning in this business. More and more people are creating an income for themselves every single day in this business. There are new people getting to our rank 1 status in this business. It is up to you. So this is our returns program. This is what we pay wealth engineers at the end of every month, right? I said there was a second way to benefit as a wealth engineer, and that is through our rewards program. So this is the XP rewards program. It works like this. As a brand new wealth engineer, you will start to engage in wealth engineer activities, like coming to presentations, bringing guests with you to presentations, watching the live stream, watching training, logging into your dashboard and your app. And when you do all these things, you get XP. It stands for experience points, right? And as you start to collect more and more XP, and your channel starts to grow, you get to enjoy rewards that we give you with the success that you have in our business, right? So if you become a wealth engineer this evening, you'll start out as a rank 0 wealth engineer. Can you see you're not important to me because you're not even on the slide? See, there's no rank 0 there, right? Because you don't mean anything. You're not earning anything. You're not doing anything. So you need to get to rank 1 as quickly as possible. You need 1,000 XP and you need 4 products in your qualified channel. When you meet those 2 criteria, you become rank 1, and I give you 55 Rand once off. Just once off when you get to rank 1, plus the return that we pay you at the end of the month. And then as you start to rank up in the business, the rewards get bigger, right? 1,500 Rand, 20,000 Rand, 50,000 Rand. We give our wealth engineers tools that help them be more effective in building their channels of distribution. So here's Patrick and Pumi with a Lightning USB drive that everyone gets at rank 5. The beauty of this little device is that it plugs into anything. Anything. Android, Apple, even your bananas that some of you have, right? Phones, tablets, laptops, computers, TVs, it plugs into anything. So Patrick and Pumi can plug that device regardless of what device is around them so that they can show people the DuePoint opportunity because we've got all our videos on that USB stick. At rank 7, we get these premium business cards manufactured. They actually cost us for one set. If we just get one set printed alone, it actually costs about 22,000 Rand for one set of cards. But we try to get them manufactured in pairs, and then the printer gives us a discount, right? If you know anything about printing. So we get them printed in pairs. One set costs us 12,500 Rand to manufacture. Why would we spend such a fortune on business cards? Because the business like this depends very much on credibility and first impressions. When you go out and you say to someone, I've got a lovely opportunity for you. It's with a business called DuePoint. They probably never heard of DuePoint before, right? But when you put a 22,000 Rand business card in their hand that is gilded and foiled in gold, there's no ink on this business card. No ink, gold. Your credibility jumps up a couple of notches, and that person will give you some more time to explain what DuePoint's all about. At rank 9, we take our wealth engineers and their families. Business class flights to our international conference. It's a 5-star luxury resort for 7 days, all expenses paid trip. Not once, but every single year for the rest of your life, as long as you're above rank 9. Very exciting. Take a look at where we're going at the end of this year. There's no time limit to this, so you might not make it this year, but I hope next year you'll be joining us.
All of your wind has gone. All of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sun where no one can see. You stand, don't let the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up.
Like I said, there's no time limit on getting to rank 9. We had one wealth engineer get there in 5 months. Right? Again, accountability lies with you. It depends on you entirely. At rank 11, we spend R250,000 on a brand new car and give it to our wealth engineers. How much closer to becoming debt-free are you going to be when you're going on a business class overseas conference for a week with your family and the car you drive is paid for by somebody else? Or you're just going to be wearing new Nikes every month and driving around in a Porsche. We're not judging. You can do either. It's up to you. All right? So this is our rewards program. There's actually a third way to benefit as a wealth engineer, and something we call a wealth quest, which is this little pink WQ you see in the top left corner. It is a challenge that we issue to our wealth engineers every single month, and every month the challenge is different and the reward is different. So this month, October's wealth quest is called Explosive Growth, and the challenge is bring in 7 new wealth engineers into your channel, get 2 of them qualified, right, which means support them in getting 3 of their own people into their business. And if you can do that, you have an Apple iPhone in your hands by the end of next month, plus 2,000 XP. And if you're a wealth engineer, you'll know that we sent a mailer out this afternoon. Did everyone get the Wealth Quest mailer today? 8 wealth engineers last month got new Apple iPhones this week, right? So this is your opportunity. You want an Apple iPhone? There it is. Our wealth engineers that have been here around for a little while, you have the opportunity to take this quest further. And if you can reinstate 3 old wealth engineers that fell by the wayside, cancelled, lapsed out the system, if you can get them back in, there's 3,000 Rand extra waiting for you before the end of next month. So those are the 3 ways to benefit. We get asked the question, well, how does DuePoint afford all of this? Our business model is very simple. Traditional insurance companies spend a lot of money on client acquisition. They take a portion of their premium that we pay them every month and they spend it on marketing and advertising, right, to gain clients. DuePoint doesn't do any marketing and advertising, so you won't see a DuePoint logo outside of this building. We rely on our wealth engineers to go out and tell people about the DuePoint opportunity. And so we don't spend billions like the insurance industry spends on marketing and advertising. We take that portion of the premium and we pay it to our wealth engineers in the form of these returns and the rewards and the wealth quests that we do, right? All right, so let's talk about our products. We've got 3 products here at DuePoint. You are free to take out one product or all 3 products. It's completely up to you. They are all financial products. The benefits are financial in nature. Starting with the Access Wealth Plan. This is our investment plan. It's made up of 2 products in this plan. Product number 1, for 299 Rand a month, product number 1 is 100 Rand that will go into a tax-free investment fund that's in your name. It sits with Sanlam. It's not a notice or a fixed deposit, so you can draw that investment out at any stage. And then the second part of the plan is a little bit of insurance that you get with this investment to the extent of 110,000 Rands worth of personal accident cover. So if you have this investment product, Access Wealth Plan, we give you 110,000 Rand worth of personal accident cover. You get killed in a car accident, you have this product, we'll pay out your beneficiaries 110,000 Rand plus whatever's in the tax-free investment account, right? So product number 1, Access Wealth. Product number 2 is strictly insurance. This is only an insurance product. It's called Wealth Guard, 274 Rand a month, but for the 274 Rand a month, you get 1.1 million Rands worth of personal accident cover. Now, our personal accident cover products are not like full-blown life insurance, right? Because you know how life insurance works. You've got to get profiled from a risk point of view. So we don't profile anyone from a risk point of view. We don't send a nurse to come do bloods and tests on you and urine tests and ask for 40 years worth of medical history. Doesn't matter what age you are. As long as you're over the age of 18, you can be 70 years old, you can be diabetic, you can have cancer, it doesn't matter. The premium remains the same for everybody and the amount of cover that you get remains the same for everyone. All right? So this is Wealth Guard, the insurance product. Product number 3 is called the Wealth Points Buyers Club Program. Now, this product aims to save you money on the money that you're spending every month anyway. So I know we spend a fortune on groceries. Yes? It's too much on groceries, right? If you have this product, it's 274 Rand a month, and you get to enjoy discounts with the list of partners that you see there. So we've got some retailers there. Yuppie Chef, Hearses, ShopRite, Checkers, Takealot. You get between 2.5% and 5% on your spend every time you go to those retailers, right? So you save money on the money that you spend anyway. We've got a data partner because this business requires data. Always on Wi-Fi data, 36 Rand for a gig of data. We've got the Entertainer app that's available to you after 6 months. That gives you access to 1.3 million rands worth of buy one, get two free. What? I've become tongue twisted in there. That gives you access to restaurants around the country, hotels around the world. It's an awesome app that runs on your phone, and we've got Eagle Forward, and we are always listing new partners in this program. So if you're looking for immediate benefit, it's a great product to have. The decision slide. So I hope you made a decision by now, right? Or do I need to start the presentation from the beginning? What is the decision we're making? The decision is, do you want to partake in the upside of entrepreneurship? And are you able to endure the downside of it? That's really the question that's being asked. Because we've got a wonderful business opportunity for you. It doesn't require selling. It allows you to start building something, an asset that you actually have ownership over. And a very, very simple business. You're only going to be going out and telling people about an opportunity. You're not trying to convince people to buy anything in this business. And the upside is that you get to start taking control over your income for the first time in your life. It doesn't matter what your boss thinks of you. It doesn't matter what the politicians are doing. It doesn't matter what the economy is doing, right? We don't have to blame anyone else. In this business, you can only blame yourself. Yeah? Go speak to our wealth engineers. You can only blame yourself in this business. But it allows you to take account over your own income. And this is a great thing. So this is the opportunity that's on offer. Getting involved, very easy. Make sure you read our code of conduct. It is our contract with you that defines what you can and cannot do as a wealth engineer. So please read it. Once you register as a wealth engineer online, start applying yourself to this business. Right? It's not a hobby. It's a business we're talking about. So you have to do all those things that you read in those leadership books. Anyone read those leadership books? They talk about boring things like planning and strategizing and goal setting. Yes, you have to do all of that in this business. You have to be serious about business, right? You're starting your own business. I wish that I could take R1 million from you in this business. You want to invest in this business? Give me R1 million. Then you'll be committed, right? Then you'll take it seriously because I want you to be successful in this business. So do all of those things. And then it's the basic requirement of just going to speak to people. Just start talking to people about the business opportunity. It's the most valuable commodity that exists in South Africa at the moment is opportunity. When you talk to people about opportunity, that's when people listen to you. We've got merchandise. This is not a profit center for us, so please consider getting the merchandise. It's all on display in the cabinet. The pricing's on the counter. Get business cards. You cannot go out there and propose a business opportunity to someone and you don't have business cards. It is unprofessional, right? Your credibility drops immediately. So consider getting the business cards. We've got new USB sticks. These are USB 3 16 gig sticks. Awesome sticks. Got them in the last week. Get those. We've got all our videos on there. So if you don't want to use the data, use the USB stick. You can plug them into TVs nowadays. We've got the power block pens, notebook, caps, and that little pin on the top left there is available to anyone that gets to rank 1 and above. It shows people that you're not part of the 0+0 club at DuePoint, right? It means you're on the slide. You're on the slide. You rank 1. So get the pin. I think it's 40 Rand. Get the pin. Wear it with pride. If you go speak to anyone that doesn't have a pin, know you're speaking to someone that's in the 0+0 club. You don't want to ask them advice. You only speak to people with pins for advice, right? So consider the merchandise. Once you become a wealth engineer, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got about 500 videos on there. It's all categorized beautifully for you. Such a wealth of knowledge sitting there. Subscribe to it. It'll tell you every time a new live stream's about to go out. It tells you every time we load up a new video. And then make sure you download our new mobile app. We've got a new mobile app, very fancy new mobile app. Make sure that you update your profile photo. So I see there are still plenty wealth engineers. Rank 4, rank 5 wealth engineers that still haven't updated their photo on the app. Update the photo because it gives you 1,000 XP like that. Remember rank 1, you needed 1,000 XP? You can do it just by taking a selfie. And not one of these with the sunglasses on and the lips out. Right? This is a business photo. It's like a passport photo with a smile. So do that, update your app. Some don'ts in the business. We've had to put the slide up because a lot of wealth engineers just don't read their code of conduct. So we're going to go through a couple of don'ts quickly. If you cannot afford to become a DuePoint product owner, you cannot get involved in this business. Unfortunately, this business isn't everything to everybody. It isn't. We are trying to empower capable people that are employed, that can afford our products. Once you start empowering yourself, you can go out and help people that can't help themselves, right? So you have to be able to afford the product. If you don't have access to the internet, so you have to have data for this business. We are a 21st century business. We don't have brochures. We don't have printed application forms. You need to have an email address. You need to know how to use the internet. You need to know how to use a mobile app. You need a smartphone, and you need data. Prerequisites to the business. If you struggle with transport, you're going to struggle with this business. Even though we've invested so much money in technology in this business, this is still a relationship, one-on-one based business. You want to be successful in this business, it's about creating relationships with people, not about Facebooking the whole world and hoping that you're going to be rich by December. Right? That doesn't work. Don't ever complete a DuePoint application on behalf of somebody else. This is not only in contravention to our code of conduct, but it is also illegal in South Africa to do that. Because the online application is a contract that you're entering into with us. And if you do it on behalf of somebody else, it is fraudulent. So don't take down details. I see it happening all the time, even in front of me. People are, I'm doing this form. Yeah, they got some Gogo's details filled out for them. Don't worry, I'll do the application for you when I get home. You cannot do that, right? Illegal, fraudulent. You cannot add direct family members into your channel. So if it's someone that lives in your household with you, that's part of your family, that you're still in the same household with, they cannot be in your channel. If it's a child that has left home and started their own family, no problem, right? They're in a different household. But if they're in the same household as you cannot be in the same channel. Don't start your own DuePoint Facebook page. I've touched on that already. Do not do that, please. We have an external company that reports to us every single day of people starting Facebook pages with the name DuePoint on. You cannot do it. It's in contravention to some of the Phase Act. It's in contravention to our code of conduct, and it doesn't work in the business. Like I said before, this business is about relationship. It's about one-on-one, right? You want to be engaging with capable, resourceful people that you have relationship with to get people into the business. Don't send people to our head office unattended. We have that. Stranger walks into the building. I'm here for a presentation. Where's the person that invited you? No, they were on Facebook. I can't remember their name, and they said I must just come to head office. Now I must take care of this person. We don't take care of that person, right? If you want to be successful in this business, relationship, one-on-one. Take care of your people. We've got 42 days left till the 1st of December. What happens on the 1st of December?
Nothing.
It becomes permanent Pooza Thursday on the 1st of December for everybody because we go into holiday mode. Right? I want you to work as hard as possible before that day arrives. We've got 42 days. That's 42 days. 42 days of opportunity to build an asset that you have ownership over to make your Christmas different to any other Christmas that you've ever had in your life. It starts today. It starts today, guys. Don't waste the days. I heard a saying. What was the saying I heard the other day? I saw on YouTube. I'll tell you a little story, short story. I saw on YouTube a magician. He's actually not a magician. He calls himself a card mechanic. He does magic with playing cards. You know the cards that the gambling casinos use? He's a card mechanic, but it looks like magic because he's got such amazing sleight of hand. He can make cards appear, disappear. You don't know what's going on. He is blind. He's blind. He cannot see, but he can feel the cards. And his eyes, he doesn't look blind. If you look at him, it doesn't look like he's a blind person. And he quoted in this video on YouTube. He said he would rather be blind than lazy and apathetic. Are you going to sit around for the next 42 days doing nothing because you're in a comfort zone and you don't care what your retirement looks like? Or you're going to make a difference in the next 42 days because that's where it begins. You've got to get excited by rank 1. Can you get excited by 55 Rand? Right? How many rank zeros do we have here? Can you get excited to get to rank 1? The 55 Rand. Because if you can get to rank 1, it proves to you that you can get to rank 9. Because the activity is exactly the same. From rank 1 all the way to rank 20 to rank 28 is the same thing. It's the same thing. If you can get to rank 1, you can get all the way to rank 28. It's just time and persistence and endurance. So I hope I'm going to see more of this crowd. Try and memorize every face that's in the audience. If you get to rank 1 by tomorrow, I'll buy you breakfast. But go out there, good luck. I thank you for your time. If you have any questions around the products or the business, come speak to me afterwards. Thanks a lot.